flames of this fire need energy to grow, to give off heat and light. The energy comes from the burning of fuel, in this case wood, combined with oxygen. Our bodies and the bodies of other animals are not much different. Our movement and growth need energy from the burning of fuel in the form of food, combined with oxygen.
Welcome back to the Classroom Hatchery program. Today we're going to be hearing from the Lake Ontario Atlantic Salmon Restoration Program lead sponsor, Ontario Power Generation, about some of the community and environmental work they do, how they produce energy in the form of electricity that powers our homes, schools, and businesses, and how they help support our program. Today is Earth Day, a global annual event in support of environmental protection, education, and restoration. Normally, the Bring Back the Salmon program, along with Ontario Power Generation and a class of students, would be involved in a garbage cleanup along one of our restoration streams. I realize that many of you will not be watching this program on Earth Day, and that is fine. The spirit of Earth Day can be and should be part of every day. There are several ways that you can carry the spirit of Earth Day and be better stewards of the world around you. First of all, look at ways that you may be unnecessarily causing environmental damage, and then make improvements. This area is low-hanging fruit. By that, I mean that many of us can easily make a huge difference by changing some of the small things that we do. Do we litter? Do we dispose of toxic chemicals in improper ways? Do we buy things that we don't need or that don't last very long? Do we buy things that have excessive and unnecessary packaging? Do we buy local when we can? Do we waste electricity by leaving TVs, lights, and other devices running when we aren't actually using them? We can easily reduce our environmental impact and save ourselves and our families money. Next, we can look for ways to increase our positive environmental impacts. We can plant native trees, shrubs, and other native plants that support native biodiversity and food webs. We can get involved in local environmental and conservation groups and events. One thing that I try and do when I'm out camping or taking a walk is to bring a grocery bag and pick up some garbage along the way. Now, with the global pandemic, this comes with some risk due to the possible spread of the virus on litter. It can be done very carefully with gloves or a specialized trash picker, or you can wait to start this routine until after the COVID-19 virus is gone. Leave places better than when you found them. If we all do this, the world will constantly become a better and healthier place. Now, I have been getting lots of questions about when are we going to release the alevin from the river tank. And they've been perfectly safe in there, but they've all hatched out. They've been all hatched out for a couple of weeks now. And so I've gone ahead and prepped the area over there, shut all the equipment off, rearranged the rocks, and we're gonna go now and release the alevin from the river tank. now that the alevin have been released, they've all gone down and hid in the gravel. And I've turned the equipment back on, and we just want to make sure that things are functioning properly. Filters running, bubbles coming from the aerator. And our temperature is sitting at 4 degrees Celsius. And with our lake tank, I've actually just started to feed them. I've been trying for a few days, but today was the first day that they seemed to be interested in the food. You can see they're swimming around now. A lot of them are hanging out on the bottom. You'll also notice that the front cover is off, and I'm not putting it back on now, and I've added light on the top. So I've increased their light and also increased their temperature. We're now sitting at about 11 degrees Celsius. And though the light and the temperature increase has been to attempt to get them interested in feeding. So now I'll be feeding them at least once a day, and probably within a week or two, I'll start feeding them twice a day. And the food is this stuff here. It's powdery stuff. Looks a bit like like sugar, a dark sugar, and it's full of protein, fats, and oils to help the fish grow. So we have observed that the fish have developed at different rates based on the tank that they are in. This is as predicted, but I wanted to experiment to see this difference myself and to show you. Remember, the fish hatched in the lake tank in week 5, and once the hatching started, it took about a week for them all to hatch. For the river tank, we didn't see the first tail poke out of an egg until week 7. 2 weeks after the lake tank fish. When the first fish hatched in the river tank, it took about 3 weeks for them all to hatch. So why is this? What is the one difference between the tanks? The eggs were from the same place, spawned and collected on the same day, installed into identical tanks, except the picture on the front, of course, on the same day. The one thing different between the tanks is the temperature. 3 degrees difference between the tanks. So here is the lesson that has been demonstrated. The metabolic rate, meaning how quickly an organism's body turns food, in our fish's case so far, the yolk, into energy for things like growing, moving, and thinking. The metabolic rate in ectotherms, cold-blooded animals like invertebrates, reptiles, amphibians, and fish, is largely determined by temperature of their environment. The water temperature has dictated how quickly our Atlantic salmon eggs have become eyed eggs, how quickly the fish developed inside of the egg, when they hatched, and how quickly they are using up their yolk sacs. The warmer the water, the quicker the development. You might ask, why don't we have the tanks warmer and grow the fish quicker? Well, the simple answer is that warmer temperatures can lead to health issues and increased mortality. Cold and slow is the best way for these fish to develop. If we had the eggs developing in temperature over 10 degrees Celsius, we would start to see a higher mortality. Now that the fish have all hatched, they can handle slightly warmer temperatures. If you think about the natural environment, winter has ended. The ice and snow has melted, the air is warmer, and so the streams are starting to warm up slowly.
Hi, my name is Megan Lacquaniti. I'm a Senior Communications Advisor at Ontario Power Generation, or OPG for short. We're so excited to be part of this week's Bring Back the Salmon program. OPG has been a proud lead sponsor of Bring Back the Salmon since 2011, and we believe strongly in giving back to the community through education and protecting the environment. Before we chat about our partnership with the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters and our involvement in the Bring Back the Salmon program, I want to share a bit about what we do here at OPG. Do you ever stop to wonder, where does that power that we use come from? I'm talking about the electricity we use to heat our homes, power our TVs, and charge all of our devices. Well, today I'm here at the Darlington Nuclear Generating Facility, where we produce 20% of the province's electricity. Our power is clean, reliable, and costs an average of 40% less than other generators. Let's check out this video that will help better explain.
Ontario Power Generation is one of the largest, most diverse clean power generators in North America. And the closure of our coal stations remains the world's largest single action to combat climate change. Our generating portfolio includes a solar facility, 2 nuclear stations, and 66 hydroelectric stations on 24 river systems across Ontario. Some of these stations are over 100 years old, and thanks to a robust maintenance and improvement program, they're working better than ever. Like here at the Sir Adam Beck Station in Niagara Falls, where the refurbished pump storage reservoir provides power for high demand periods that's equal to 1 million electric car batteries. OPG has also developed innovative hydro partnerships with Indigenous communities, who receive equity shares, on-site jobs, and skills training. The Moose Cree First Nation helped us build the 438-megawatt Lower Matagami hydroelectric project. And in partnership with the Taykwa-Tagamu First Nation, we built the $300 million Peter Sutherland Senior Generating Station in Northern Ontario. Most recently, we worked with the Six Nations Development Corporation on a 44-megawatt solar facility at the former Nanticoke Coal Station site. We're also hard at work refurbishing the Darlington Nuclear Generating Station. Once completed, it will provide 30 more years of clean, low-cost power, boost Ontario's GDP by almost $90 billion, and create about 14,000 jobs per year. Our greatest resource is our people. Thanks to our dedicated team of skilled employees, OPG is proud to be a climate change leader and Ontario's largest clean power generator.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah Bourgeois. I'm a communications officer at OPG. As you just saw in the video, OPG produces more than half of the electricity Ontarians rely on every day. If you take a look at the map beside me, you'll see that our facilities are located across Ontario, making OPG one of the most diverse electricity generators in North America. We mostly use nuclear and hydropower to make electricity, but we also use biomass, gas, and solar. Take a little bit of a closer look. Can you see where you live and maybe what OPG facility is close to your home? Speaking of nuclear stations, OPG operates 2 nuclear generating facilities in Durham region. The first photo is one of our Darlington station. That's where I work. As you can see, it's pretty large. There's 4 935 megawatt reactors, or units as we call them, and altogether it provides 20% of Ontario's electricity. That's enough power for around 2.7 million homes. Next, let's take a look at the Pickering Nuclear Station. This is where Megan works. It too is very large. In fact, it's one of the world's largest nuclear stations. It has 6 operating reactors and provides 14% of Ontario's electricity. That's enough power for about 2.2 million homes. Nuclear energy is one of Canada's safest and most efficient energy sources. It produces clean baseload power 24/7, 365 days a year. As you can see in the graph beside me, These are all different sources of energy that were produced in Ontario last year. And as you can see, nuclear played a very big role, producing approximately 60% of Ontario's power. Next up is a cool video that describes how we produce the electricity at one of our nuclear generating facilities. Take a look.
You don't have to look far to find one of Ontario's biggest energy sources, but you might have to look closely. This is a uranium pellet. Small, but mighty. 8 of these can power an average house for a whole year. That's because there's a lot of energy in the nucleus of the uranium atom, and it's extracted through nuclear fission. By splitting uranium atoms, heat is generated. The process is similar to other forms of power generation. Water is heated, which turns into steam, which turns a turbine, and spins a generator, creating electricity. OPG operates 2 of Ontario's 3 nuclear power plants, Pickering and Darlington. All of the reactors in the plants were designed and developed with Canadian technology and are staffed by highly skilled people. With the highest of safety standards, OPG's nuclear stations employ many lines of defense to ensure the public and the environment are protected. Another high standard? Fighting climate change. Nuclear energy emits virtually 0 greenhouse gas emissions. And nuclear energy isn't just clean, it provides reliable baseload power 24/7, 365 days a year. Great things really do come in small, atomic packages.
Today, I'm standing in our Darlington Information Center, and I just wanted to share with you a couple of the neat displays that we have in our center. So as you heard, electricity, it all starts with one of these small uranium pellets. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's pretty tiny. But one of these uranium pellets holds a lot of power. In fact, 8 of these pellets can produce enough energy to power a home up to 1 year. The ceramic pellets are then placed inside a fuel bundle. So this is the actual size of one of our fuel bundles that we would use in our generating facilities. One of these fuel bundles powers a house up to 100 years. So what happens once we have the fuel bundle? Come on over to this display. This display is a can-do schematic. The type of reactors we operate here in our facilities are can-do reactors. So the fuel bundles go inside the reactor, or what we call a calandria. And once the fuel bundle is loaded inside, a special process takes place. It's called fission. And what that means is an atom is split. So when an atom is split, a couple things happen. New neutrons are produced, which go on to split further atoms, which is called the chain reaction, the nuclear chain reaction, but also immense heat. A lot of heat is released. That heat then heats up the heat transport system, which then heats up the water inside our steam generators. So just like a kettle on your stove, when you start to heat it up, the water starts to boil. The water turns into steam, pushing the steam over, and it starts driving our high and low pressure turbines. Those big turbine blades start to spin. The turbines are connected to the generator by a long shaft. The generator is made up of copper wires and magnets, and that's what produces the electricity. Once the electricity is produced, it's pushed out through our transmission lines and into your homes and businesses.
Within our partner communities and across the province, OPG is working hard to protect Ontario's environment and biodiversity. We strive to be a global leader in helping in the fight against climate change and implementing amazing plans in support of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. From tree plantings to habitat restoration projects, we are committed to creating a more sustainable Ontario for future generations. In fact, recently, OPG Darlington and Pickering Nuclear received a gold-level Wildlife Habitat Council conservation recertification. This international recognition recognizes the efforts we have made in environment, education, stewardship, and employee efforts. We've held this designation since 1997. OPG has also been a lead sponsor of the Bring Back the Salmon program since 2011, and we're excited to be a part of the program once again this year. Although the program looks a little bit different due to COVID-19 restrictions, we've had the opportunity to partner with many local schools over the years. And we've hosted many classes at our information centers to participate in launch and delivery of salmon eggs to our hatcheries. We've also worked with Conservation Authority partners to teach students the importance of a healthy watershed. We've hosted streamside cleanups. And of course, our favorite part of the program is participating in the spring release, where we get to see salmon fry being released into 2 tributary streams in our local host communities. That's something you'll get to see on video in a few short weeks. Partnering with the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters on Bring Back the Salmon is just one of our many biodiversity partnerships and initiatives that we're involved in. We run many of our community programs at our sites, including Tuesdays on the Trail, March Break, and tree plantings, just to name a few. We also partner with many local organizations offering our land for environmental education.
In celebration of Earth Day, we thought we would chat a little bit about climate change. Climate change describes a change in the average conditions, such as temperature and rainfall, in a specific region over a long period of time. In fact, scientists have observed that the Earth's surface is warming, and many of the warmest years on record have happened in the past 20 years. This week, be sure to check out a few activities that you can do at home to show your appreciation and respect for the Earth's environment and help fight against climate change. Your teacher can find the printable activities in the provided link. After all, you are our future environmental stewards. Here are a few things that we are doing here at OPG to help fight against climate change.
Some have the power to sound the alarm. Many have the power to be heard. Others have the power to agree to solutions. Our power is our people. Our power is experience, collaboration, ingenuity, grit. Our power allows us to set ambitious goals. A net zero company by 2040. And a catalyst for a net zero economy by 2050. We're walking the walk to a post-carbon economy. Starting here in Ontario, our power is changing the world. OPG, where a brighter tomorrow begins.
So before you head back today to class, we just wanted to thank you for sharing this week's lesson with us today. And we also wanted to thank the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters for the Bring Back the Salmon program. For further information on OPG, please check us out at opg.com.
Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out another segment of Fishy Facts. I'm Johnny Nene. This week, let's talk about the lanternfish. Lanternfish are a small deep-sea fish that are found worldwide between the depths of 360 and 900 meters. There are over 200 species of lanternfish with a maximum length of 30 centimeters reached by some species. They have slender, silvery bodies with relatively small fins and a large round head and eyes. Deep-sea fishes commonly have large eyes, which allows for greater light absorption. Lanternfish are typically found in large schools around continental slopes near coastal waters. They will migrate daily to follow their food source, zooplankton. During the day, lanternfish remain in the deep water, but at night, they follow their food source and migrate upwards towards the water's surface to feed. It is thought that remaining in the depths during the day helps lanternfish avoid predation from larger predators such as seals, whales, sharks, tuna, dolphins, and seabirds. Despite this, lanternfish are an integral part of many ocean food webs, and they are an important food source for many predatory species. As you may have guessed, lanternfish get their name from their ability to produce light. Within the lanternfish's head, sides, and tail are kidney-shaped organs called photophores. The photophores produce and emit light in a process known as bioluminescence. This causes the lanternfish to glow blue, green, or yellow and helps them to communicate with each other. Lanternfish can regulate the amount of light emitted to match the ambient light levels above them, which helps mask their silhouette from predators when viewed from below. Well, that's all I have for you guys on this week's segment of Fishy Facts. I hope you enjoyed learning about the lanternfish, and be sure to check out next week's segment. Thanks everybody, see you then.
Thank you, Megan, Leah, and Johnny for your presentations this week. And a big thank you to OPG for your support with our restoration program and for producing the energy to provide the lights, charge my video camera, and run the hatchery units. I hope you will join us next week when we're going to hear from Maribeth Burley, the Conservation Education Coordinator here at the OFAH Mario Cortolucci Hunting and Fishing Heritage Center. She is going to be telling us about some of the programs that run out of this facility and about some biodiversity in Ontario.